We have got a great workout in store for you today. We're 7,000 feet up at Flagstaff, Arizona, and Tom Rushton has put together a great 100 and 200 race pace session. Tell me about the session, what we're doing tonight with the guys.
Well, I hope it's going to be great. I think the practice could be good. It's up to them to make it great. Tonight we've gone 5 days now in altitude. We haven't done a lot of intensity, but tonight we're going to bring in just a little bit of work, some stroke rate based work on 100s and 200s.
I would say this is, of all the weeks of training I've seen Tom put together, the last 4 days have been the easiest, but the athletes look tired, right?
They did look tired this morning. Typically though, what I've seen is, especially at altitude, they'll be a little bit rough in the morning, and then they'll kind of come through a little bit in the afternoon. And they all had another session in between what you and I have seen, yep. Although we did do the spin class, we saw that one. But most of them did gym, some of them we did a spin class. I think they kind of just get into the day, and they said they're feeling better now, so.
Well, hopefully you're gonna watch some fast swimming. We've got 3 lanes, we've got 9 athletes, and we've got some speed. After 1800 of general loosening, the squad done 3 dive 25s where they descended 1 to 3, with the third one being all out. They could use any equipment they wanted. Some people used loofers, some people used fins, some people mixed up the strokes. As you can see, Gregor and Siobhan were racing breaststroke here, but as we can see, Gregor is cheating by doing fly kick. I think Siobhan would have beaten him otherwise. Gregor winner, Siobhan loser. Correct warm-up really sets you up for a good session, and the general loosening part of this session had a lot of skills: push and glides, paddle play, kick, scull, drill. And then you had the sprints, which really prime you for a big set where you're going to be going 100 or 200 race pace, and you need to have the muscles firing correctly. The main set was 25 100s in total, with a couple of 200s aerobic mixed in there. You either had race pace at the start of the 100 or towards the end of the 100, and as we progressed through the session, the amount of race pace within the 100 increased then decreased, like a little bit of a pyramid. I'm sure you've all done one at some point in your career. This was the very first 100 where at the end they went at 25 at race pace, and Nastya Gorbenko, world champion, was always doing a brilliant job of closing hard. We really worked on all aspects of the stroke, going into the turn and making sure we're accelerating with a great underwater kick in as we done these back half 50s. This was a back half 50 all at pace, and the first heat featured Daniel Namir of Israel, Siobhan Jorge of Hong Kong, and Gregor Zirk of Estonia, marking a truly international group, and all of them put some pride on the line and raced. As we can see, Siobhan was keeping it way closer to Daniel than he would have liked, and Gregor was bringing it in at the back doing the butterfly. I think the athletes would all agree that when they started with the race pace, it was a lot easier than when they finished with the race pace. When you start, you get that big push off, and then as soon as you've finished, you can just float back to the end at a nice easy effort. The other way round though was much harder, because you have to accelerate and finish the 100, and it definitely started to challenge the swimmers around halfway through the set, where they peaked at a 65 back end speed. We timed the back end stuff just the 50, so we didn't give them the whole 65 time, we gave them the 50 time because that's something that they can relate to and understand. 8-3 Siobhan, 8-0 Daniel.
Gregor 9-8 in the hands, 9-8 in the hands, touching there. 97, Gary, 97. 4-2 from the hands there.
We also monitor all their heart rates, and you can see them start to increase through the session.
Timing the last 50, this is really the toughest part of the set. Go down there. Last 65 or last 50. Come on, Eddie.
7-8. 9-8 there, Siobhan. Nice job.
30
Up.
flat. 30 flat. Pretty good there.
33-9 there, Eddie.
7-9. A bit easier from now on.
They've got 2 more 50s, Tom.
And they did 65. 50 is easier than 65.
Something that Tom and I always do, regardless of whether it's an easy aerobic session or a high quality intense session like tonight's session, is get some underwater footage so we can give feedback and technical analysis to the swimmers. Even if it is not on a one-to-one basis, Tom will just upload the footage into a Dropbox that they can then access and find self-improvement by looking and analysing their own strokes, but also the other swimmers in the group, which they might be able to pick something up on. We were over halfway in the set at this point, and this was the last time they would have an entire 50 within 100 that was at race pace. But everyone was really starting to struggle. This set was by no means easy, and even at sea level the athletes would probably find it quite challenging. Now when you remember that we're 7,000 feet above sea level in Flagstaff, Arizona, and everything's much tougher. This was my first time going up to altitude, and I was really shocked at how quickly you got out of breath. And I'm talking about doing basic tasks, walking up the stairs. When I did do a little bit of race pace myself, and nothing like the set that these guys did, I got to almost a panic state where I couldn't even get air in my body and was almost like moving my arms around hoping that someone would come save me. It sounds dramatic, but that really is the case. And one of the sessions we had Connor Ferguson from Loughborough join us, and I could see he got in that state as well after a series of 50s. After that last 50 in this session though, everything started to get less, 35s, 25s, and this was a brilliantly designed set by Tom for that reason. As my coach Dave Champion used to say, it was like the light at the end of the tunnel, and that really motivated the swimmers on to dig deep and find something a little bit extra and special to not only finish this session but finish the first week of training at altitude, leaving just 3 weeks to go before they would come down from the mountain and race at the San Antonio Pro Series that is actually happening the weekend this video goes live. We also started a challenge on this camp where the swimmers would once a day do 3 15s at the end of a session underwater from the push, timed, recorded and ranked, so that they could get better by changing things they were doing, by looking at the video analysis and being competitive.